So it looks like I've found a way to put this in such a way that you can actually watch what it is I'm doing. See the process I do without me having to be holding the phone with one hand, and that means really having a hard time getting around to doing everything with the other. So here we go, just one more ingredient needed here, which would be this. So this is my process for sprucing up, spicing up this kefir, which I've made. Well, this batch is carrying from last year, actually from the previous year already, I believe. I might be wrong. So anyhow, what we want to be doing is, if these were edible peels, I would be slicing this up as well and putting it in the bottles. But since it is not edible, I'm just using the juice. So, to be revving up those ferments, one thing we need to be doing is, let me just find the bottle which was really, so this was the bitter one. So I'm going to be putting more sweet stuff in the bitter one than in the others. So my process is simply this. I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can. So I'm putting this on here. Next is I will be putting 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I'm picking up here, I'll start with 5 spoonfuls of sugar and use not tap water and not fluoride water and not otherwise medicated water. The purest water you can find, the better. So that's my first step. I will be putting, you might look at these and say, ooh, gunk. These are simply super old, super aged prunes, which are still perfectly good to eat. That's all sugar built up there. Sometimes I'll just pop in and eat one. I have these since I don't know how long. So sometimes I'll just pop in and eat one. So we're going to be putting, in this bottle, we're going to be doing something a bit more complex than the others. We're going to be putting both a prune cut up, and here we go with half of the lemon juice, and I'm going to be putting these orange, you see, you slice it up really small and fine, as you see that as well, so that it goes in and actually has a chance of coming back out later on. Otherwise you have to get rid of the bottles. I'm using these beer bottles, which are really resistant to the pressure. As you've probably noticed, see, the pressure is so high that the bottom is giving out. It's changing form, shape, whatever. So I'm going to be putting quite a bit. Normally I would just take them all, mix them all together, get rid of the old, and interchange with the new. But because this batch is so old, I'm going to try just simply adding in new ferments, new sugars to be fermenting for the first round. And during this week, today is Tuesday, so throughout the week I'm going to get my hands on some more apples, hopefully. That way we can, I'm going to have to cut that smaller. That way we can then replace maybe the old stuff. But actually, as long as it's fermenting in there, it's not really going bad. What I will do usually is like put all of the bottles of the same batch, all of the ingredients of the same batch together again into a big cauldron, redistribute the old fruit into all of them equally, and add new in. And that's just my process. If it grosses you out, feel free to do things your way, because Everyone gets to say, I did it my way. Anywho, so we did that. I'm going to be adding into here some raisins as well. So normally I add in 10 raisins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to be doing 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 20. And I'm going to be adding in for this round, what are you? Is this fenchel or is it cumin? Smells like cumin. Or, don't tell me I mixed both fenchel and cumin in together. Well, doesn't matter. They both taste pretty good. So here's like a handful of that. And you really want to be adding little spices in double purpose, if I haven't explained this before. When it starts fermenting, those spices will be floating up and down inside the bottle. So you will have a visual measure of if the ferments are active or not. When they stop floating, the ferments are pretty much gone, but you know, not necessarily completely, but that really is like it's alive. So here, I'm just going to add a little bit more water in here. One thing I always forget to do is not too much so that it has space to expand. Okay. And I'm just going to let that be. Now these I'm going to put them aside. Here, I should get rid of this. I really should. Where's the scissors? Here's a pair of scissors. So there we go. So this one is, let me just remind myself of what it is. I'm just going to write that down real quick. So this is prune, orange, raisins, and the other one is cumin / fennel. That's what it was, fennel. Where did I put that other pair of scissors? The big, there you go. So it's just like a reminder to yourself what it is you're doing. And the date. Today is the 15th of March. It's just like a quick reminder for myself to be gluing, to be putting here across the front so that I can keep track of what's happening with who. Also because you might not want to be mixing too many things, and you also want to know what the taste is going to be like. So this was from the bitter. Let me see. Let me just write that on here that it was bitter. So that, you shake it up and you store it in the dark. Give it, goodness gracious. And just store it away in the dark. Pick up with the next one here. This one was the sweeter one. So we will go with the apples for this one. So I usually go with 1/4 of an apple per bottle, not more. If I'm doing it in the bigger container, these are 1.5 liter bottles. If I'm doing it in the bigger container, I'll probably do 1 whole apple. Well, the bigger container actually holds, I think it's, I don't remember how many liters that one is. I'm going to have to check. Probably 3 to 4 liters. So there you go. Here we just put all of this in. This is already sweet of its own. So we'll just pour the rest of this lemon in here. Prepare the lemon for the next batch. And I'm just going to go with the same seeds everywhere this time around, as we said before. So this was there you go. And in this one, only raisins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, that's enough. All right. So once again, we're going to be putting the sugar in. And this time, because it's been so long, we're doing 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. The real problem right now is that here in Italy, thanks to this whole Ukraine situation, we are missing sugar and flour, sugar, flour, and a whole number of other falsely so deemed primary necessities. Storing away, I mean, sure, having some some flour handy, some sugar. What I'm really ticked off about is that I cannot find at a decent price anymore brown sugar. Anywho, so what have we put in this batch? In this batch we have put, did I put the pen? There it is. We have put apple, raisins, fennel/cumin, and today is 15/3. Like just a reminder to myself what's going on here, and provided I can actually read my handwriting, my chicken scratch handwriting a month from now, a year from now, whenever it may be. So we're just going to put that on here now. And this is the second refill. Let me see, have I forgotten anything? No. Okay, good. So, give me one of the lids. As you saw before, if you saw the other video, just a second, what I do is when I'm pouring this out, I leave the lid on. Double purpose, leaving the lid on. Number one, if it's spraying all over the place, I get to just like direct the spray into the glass or the jug or whatever. Number two, it does not allow for all of the sediments out, but they get stuck in the lid, so you're going to have to clean off the bottle every time you close it. Otherwise, you really want the cap on tight, otherwise it will be losing its spunk, so to speak. So that's the second bottle, away in the dark, and let it be. So this one and this one, they're pretty much similar. So I will be putting the prune in with the apple on this one. There we go. Prune, apple, okay, prune, apple, Here's another handful of cumin and fennel seeds. I'm pretty sure I messed it up. Or maybe it's anise seeds. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I'm calling them what I'm calling them, and who cares? There you go. Let's put in our, oh, I forgot the lemon juice. What I will be doing with those seeds is I'm going to be drying them off and then planting them. Yay! I was really upset of having to give away my little lemon tree I had been growing since 5 years. But I'm sure I gave it to a person who is worthy of it, who will take care of it. And for the rest, we'll be growing new ones. So here you go. There we go. Sugar and spice and all things nice. Three, 4, and 5. There you go. And just pour this in. You don't really have to be messing around with, like, you pour the sugar in to the funnel. When you pour the water on top, it's going to moisten it and make its breakthrough, so to speak, as you see. And then you just finish it off. You rinse off the funnel this way. That way you're not losing anything. And let me just get another bottle. I am harvesting all plastic bottles. I'll be going and getting water from some spring in the area, which I pretty much know where to go. It's just managing to put myself in the proper mind state to do it. That way I will be avoiding having to buy more drinking water, but otherwise it is so important that you stop drinking the water. Oops, wrong lid. So important to stop drinking the water from the public service. As I'm sure I've told you, well, I'm sure I've commented this somewhere in one of my videos somewhere. Maybe a bit too much water here, hey? Well, we will see. I'm sure that what happened was end of 2019, my goldfish, I had this one goldfish since 9 years, and all of a sudden he died on me, and that was November, December of 2019, and then beginning of 2020, my cat started developing all of these troubles, all of these problems in his kidneys and his his bladder. He started producing these stones in his bladder like crazy. He couldn't pee, and I am 100% positive that his ailments, his sudden ailments, he got operated 3 times, poor baby. In 2 years, he got operated 3 times, and in the end, I think he went off to die when I left him with my friend here. And back in December, he ran away like 3 days after I dropped him off. But I am positive that he got sick because they changed something in the water. So I have taken to doing all of my cooking with spring water or bottled water. I do not use water from the tap anymore. I am positive that they have put something in it which is making us sick, especially in this area. And you want to be paying really close attention to the logos of the companies you are dealing with. Now, the company distributing the water in my area has a very stylized logo, which is a perfect imitation of skull and bones. So I'm sorry, logos are not there by accident, especially not companies which have proven themselves to be criminal. There have been problems pointed out by other people in Tuscany about this water supply service. Not to mention the water supply service has been stealing water from the houses which had their own wells, taking the water from private people's wells and forcing them to take the public water, you know, just to get here. You have your own well, who cares? Here, take my water, that way you have to pay the bills, you know. And it's interesting how if you're a squatter here in Italy and you take over the bills, you're paying the bills, you decide to you go in a place and you start squatting. If you can attach electricity, water, and gas to the house and start paying those bills, they can't kick you out, not even if you're not paying the rent. You know, squatters' rights. Well, squatters' rights sound a whole lot more like a ploy to be giving money to these companies, which, sorry, it's a big fat lie that the gas issues and all of the prices going up, it's a big fat lie. That those, especially over in the States, that those depend on Russia and Ukraine. Wake up, people. They're lying to us. I don't know about here in Europe what the situation is, because I really have never bothered to ask, although I believe that it's lies anyways. They always create these situations and then try to make it look like, oops, there we go. You see, this one is completely rounded bottom there. It's always the citizen to be paying everything. Always has been and always will be. The law-abiding ones. And the others get to live off of their backs for free. Because when you are law-abiding, it's so much easier to manipulate you. But let me just shut my mouth on that score now. And, oops, did I maybe perhaps not write what I put in the last two? Right, I did not. So, I did not put any raisins into this one either. Here we go, raisins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Some of these are really big. There, it's a little bit more. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be cool. This is going to be something really interesting. Yummy, yummy. So we've washed all of that off. Get to shake it all up. And let me just write these two things down. So one was apple, prune, fennel/cumin, and the other is orange, raisin, fennel/cumin. Both are today 15.3. There we go. We've made our little notes to ourselves. Orange. Bing. That's not even going to stick, is it? Doesn't seem very enthused at the idea of sticking there. Where Where did I put the other one? There it is. Let's just put the label on this one as well. And voila! Les jeux sont faits. Olé, olé, olé. So those will stay in the dark, in a warm, well, not too warm, I'm afraid, part of the room here in the kitchen. Well, yes, it does get warm there because it's right next to the fridge, so perfect. And we will be shaking them up periodically, you know, to be better stirring in the sugar. And after that, in a few days, we will be tasting them to see what it's all like. And very hopefully, we will also then, here, these will be going to use somewhere else. I'll let you know what I do with these later. Or maybe I won't, because recently I've just been so sick again. And if, like me, you are battling with more so-called autoimmune diseases, one thing really, don't identify, don't personalize it. Don't say my fibromyalgia, for example. You don't want to be doing it because you're sending a signal to your subconscious that it's well, I'll not get into the whole thing there. Also, other reason why you don't want to be personalizing any kind of ailment you might be having, you want to have a reason available. Say, oh, okay, the situation is like this. What happens with me is like this because. You want to be able to explain it. You never, ever, ever want to turn it into an excuse. You don't want to. Many years ago, this guy really stuck with me. He said, never accept an excuse for yourself, not even if it is true. The moment you start accepting it as an excuse is the moment that you give up your personal power. The only reason to be saying, oh, okay, I have this condition, there's this condition I am dealing with, right, is precisely so that you can be dealing with it. Precisely to give yourself the self-empowering tools to be facing whatever the problem is head onward. And that way you're not too harsh on yourself when you just can't seem to be measuring up to your own high standards. And at the same time, you don't cut yourself too much slack either. And that is all from the Tuscan Urban Farmstead. Oh, I'll just show you this one last little thing before we close off. Thrifting. I got this. Okay, it's missing the front door here, and it's missing the drawers here, which is the reason why at the thrift store they let me take it for free. And doesn't it fit just perfectly? It gives me space to be walking through here. It's perfect. And you know, thrifting. That's another thing that we do a lot of here on the Tuscan Urban Farmstead. And so that's all for now. I'll be back with updates on the Kefir. And ciao, ciao.